What is up, guys? We are live. Zach Ginn here.
Rick in here.
And in today's video, we're going to talk all about tax liens and just tax lien profits. If you want to get in front of sellers that are not paying their taxes, and I believe in this current market right now, there's a ton of them, and in the future, it's going to be an amazing one. So I'm excited to do it. So that's what we're going to do today in this video. We're going to bring over tax liens. I mean, do you think tax liens are going to be pretty good in the future?
Tax liens are always good.
I think more in the future now. Yeah. So let's get into it, guys. Remember, you need to smash the like button and subscribe and get up. We got to get up.
Oh, yeah.
You want to get up?
Yeah, I do.
Let's get up. Guys, I truly believe that most of you guys watching this video you're sleeping in bed and you got to get out of bed. So let's pump it up. It's wholesaling time, guys. Let's go.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and they got go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
Let's go.
I love that clip.
It's a little funny clip we always play before we do something fun, before we get working out or something. So wanted to give a little pump up, I guess.
I like
get
it,
you up. But yeah, guys, get up.
Wakes you up.
It wakes you up. Guys, you got to get up. Try a little humor there, but let's talk about it. Tax liens. So what is a tax lien? Because I don't think a lot of people, they hear it, they're like, tax delinquencies are great, people are behind their taxes, and they don't really truly understand how to get it going. So let's break it down. So what is a tax lien or like a tax delinquency?
So you just, honestly, if you simplify this, because I found my first 7 years, I found this so complicated, I actually avoided it. So we're talking about taxing real estate. So all real estate in the United States, doesn't matter what state you're in, a big source of the city and county's revenue is from property tax. So every property that you own has some sort of tax. It doesn't matter if it's commercial, a residential building. So they tax it. I'm not here to kind of go into how they tax it, but they tax you based on the sales price. And every state's a little bit different, but they depend on that revenue heavily. So it's how your fire department's funded, your police force, a lot of the local roads and everything like that. So they rely on this revenue. So where we come in as investors is when homeowners can't pay their taxes.
Yeah.
And so what happens? So they've come up with this great system. So say you get taxed $2,000 a year on your property. Come the end of the year, usually November, December, you get a tax bill. Now, some cities and counties let you pay it monthly. Some of you guys pay it in your mortgage. It doesn't matter. But what happens when you don't pay that tax bill? Well, they usually give you up to a 6-month lag period. And what they do is they add interest rate for each month. So what happens when 6 months goes by and nobody pays the tax? Well, what happens is every state's a little bit. So, some can be 6 months, some can be a year, but they have what they call they want to get their money. So what they'll do is they get investors, and you don't even need real estate investors for this, and people bid. So Zach owes $2,000 on the property. He hasn't paid it in 6 months. It goes to a tax certificate. And what happens on the certificate is basically I buy a certificate for $2,000. The city or the county gets their $2,000 so they can fund their operating budget. And now I have a lien on the property for $2,000. And so how it works in Florida is you just bid down the interest rate.
Mm.
So just to let you know, when you buy a tax certificate, you are not buying the property. You're just buying a lien, and that's it.
I get it. A lot of people talk about tax certificates, and there's so much we got to break down here, because when someone's behind their taxes, every law is different. Obviously, there's tax liens, there's tax delinquency people, there's tax sales, tax auction. You can actually buy the liens from people. It's kind of crazy. Wyoming's got some nutty stuff. Florida doesn't, but that's kind of what I want to talk about. So there is tax certificates, and then there's regular just tax liens. You got to lien on your property because you're not paying taxes. So let's say something like the state of Florida. What's going on with that? Like, so in Florida, for my Florida people out here, and the way kind of we do it here is, how long does someone get when they're behind on taxes before they get a lien on it?
So I'm going to talk specifically about Florida because every other state's a little bit different.
Yeah, we're not lawyers,
So,
financial advisors, anything like that.
You would be surprised on the amount of people that are behind on their taxes.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
So if you want to find out who's behind, so when we say behind on taxes, that refers to delinquency.
Yes.
Okay. It's not quite lien status, but it's there. Just so you understand, every property before it trades hands, if the taxes are not paid, you get stuck.
True.
So if I sell you a property, you don't pay your property taxes, I now get the tax bill on it.
Yeah.
They don't even have to do a lien. It's there. Either
Yeah.
it's paid or it's not.
Mhm.
So what I like to do, in the best way to start out in wholesaling, in my opinion, are the tax delinquency list. Those are
That's
people that
great.
are just behind in their list. And you should be able to get that from your county
And
records.
sometimes the tax delinquency list won't have a lien on it. I think that's the difference between them. You can be behind your taxes, but they might not put a lien on
it's
it
just
yet.
a record of the people that are behind on it.
Yes.
Now,
The property appraiser shows that in most states.
yeah. Now it's people, they overcomplicate it. There's now
Yeah.
really wealthy people, just a little secret out there, they finance their tax. So if I have a $50,000 tax bill,
Mhm.
a lot of them won't pay it till the last day until they're about to file a certificate
Yeah.
or like a major lien on
Yeah.
it. So we filter out like the high-end properties, and then you look for people that are consistently behind. So in the state of Florida, the tax delinquency is a sweet spot because
Yeah.
it's showing an indication of a motivated seller, because if you don't have your money to pay your taxes, and by the way, the taxes get paid, like they supersede all other liens on the property.
Yeah.
They come first. So they figured it out. So if you can catch them on that list and work with them, that's the sweet spot, guys. I'm telling you right now, the tax delinquency list is where you want to get it. It is public record. Some of it, you can get it online, depends on which services you use, but you should be able to go to your county and get that tax records, and you want to get it in an Excel file. Get somebody to help you to sort it out, like, because it's a huge list.
Or you do listREI.com. I mean, that's where we pull it.
You can do
It
either
makes
or.
no sense not to, like, just a tax lien to like click the button and get the equity going. I mean, I was talking about it yesterday. I was kind of hyping the people up. We went over the top, technically 8 PropStream lists, and I don't want to hype, like, get everyone super hyped up for this, but there's so many more people this year. Like, just with, I'm not going to say the word. We're not allowed to say the word for the YouTube algorithm, the COV word, the sickness.
Listen,
The reason why no NFL game had any people in last year, that I think is going to be a huge catalyst to people not paying their taxes. I mean, last year and then this year, I just think we're almost approaching 2 years of this.
Yeah, there's no breaks. The tax bill always have to be paid way the government's funded.
Yep.
So you have the I call the tax delinquency, which would be kind of like your pre-foreclosure in a way. And to me, you can get that list, and those people usually need help. You just got to find the ones on the list that seem like they need help more than others. So I don't like to do the high-end properties on like the lower-end properties. So in the state of Florida, after I believe it's 2 years, is they issue a tax certificate, and then basically you bid on it. Now the neat thing is, I think the highest interest rate is 18%, and it technically goes down to 0, but I think 5% is what you see the norm on it. Now, tax certificates, to let you know, is just like getting an interest rate and buying a lien. It's like even if I bought like an old debt, it gives you no shortcut to buying the property cheap. There's a huge misconception out there. Once a tax certificate, if you own it, I believe another 2 years, it might be 12 months, you can file just like a foreclosure.
Yeah.
And they force an auction. Here's the deal. The auction just guarantees you get your original $2,000 back plus your interest. you don't get any more advantages over any other buyer.
true.
And so many people think, oh, if I get a tax deed, I can no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And actually, technically, in like the state of Florida, you're not even allowed to contact the I guess the owner of the property. You're not.
Probably good
and
reason
if
why.
you do, it's documented. They ban you from doing it. So
I did probably intimidate. It's probably not good.
But I tell you what, I've met a ton of people that go, oh, I just bought a tax deed. You bought a lien. You didn't buy a property. And I'm just telling you, they always say, hey, don't go talk to them. A lot of aggressive wholesalers will. I've seen the cases where you buy the lien and then you approach the homeowner, but you got to be careful because if they complain, you have an issue with it. So you have tax delinquency. It goes to tax certificate, and then it goes to a tax. The certificate can be forced into basically an auction.
Yeah.
So our sweet spot as wholesalers is always going to be on like the tax delinquency. So if you want to talk about the challenges with chasing down motivated sellers on a tax delinquency list, I can tell you what they are because I got them all memorized. It's so people in tax delinquency, to be honest with you, they like to avoid stuff. They don't like mail. They hate phone calls. So the challenging part for you cold callers and you people who do direct mail, they typically don't respond to it.
Well, they're probably behind on credit card debt, all this, and there's just, I'm not calling them loan sharks, but they're calling like crazy. You guys have heard me, like cold calling a taxing list is very tough. Prove me wrong, go out there, start cold calling tax liens. No one's going to answer. Like, you don't think anyone answers when I do Zillow like lives? They're not going to answer. They're going to think you're trying to get debt from them or you're this financial company that's like bought the debt. No, because these people, they're insane. They will literally call like a person like 4 or 5 times in a day. It just won't stop.
Yeah.
But guess what people do though? They answer text.
I think text
a lot higher. A lot higher.
If you can go to the door and like knock on the door, you actually,
yes,
in my opinion, if it's legal in your state and you're comfortable doing it,
yes,
and you feel safe, that's fine. But I think our current status, that makes that a little bit more challenging.
I mean, door knocking is the best for anything. Like if I door knock probates, that'd be amazing. If I door knock code violations, be the best. Door knocking is the best, but it's not scalable to door knock 5,000 doors.
Mm-hmm.
But I can do 5,000 texts in a day.
Yeah.
5,000 cold calls technically, but that gets a little more difficult. But you're right. You hit the nail right on the head there. Like it was absolutely perfect back in the day when you could just door knock and there was like no other competition. But tax liens are great. And so usually you got 2 years and then an additional 2, and then it goes to an auction. I do want to just, not an elephant in the room, but I think it's pretty important that we discuss this because a lot of newer wholesalers get this bright idea like, what if I go to the tax auction and there's no one there and I could bid it for the lowest price and wholesale that? I had that bright idea when I started out that, tax auction is going to be amazing. Like,
well, let me tell you,
it's interesting.
In Florida.
Yeah.
So what they do is, so it's an online auction. So you can't figure out who's the buyers. You can't figure out your competition. So if a property usually sells, just say for 200,000, they automatically start out like 55% of the value of the property. So you're not getting it for free.
Yeah.
And number 2, you're bidding, and the highest bidder wins.
Yeah.
And remember, so some states have a redemption too. Mm-hmm. So it's important it. Some states.
Oh, those are the best. When you can buy the house and then within like a year or something, they can get it back. It's crazy. Some are like a month.
So redemption's not good. Like if you buy the house cheap,
I know.
Sometimes they can have 6 months to a year to buy it.
It's crazy.
Price.
And then they'll sometimes fix it up.
I know. So you got to be. There's all sorts of fun stuff. I've never liked auctions. So I used to go. Now I'm gonna show my age. I used to go to the courthouse and try to bid, and it was absolutely brutal in 04 and 05 when I did it.
It's a good boys club.
It was. And now you got people from all over the world who have professional advisors helping.
And you're forgetting about this. There's so many people in different countries that are just bidding for U.S. property because it's the best investment.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people we've seen this in Florida. We've sold a lot of we've wholesale properties, put it back on the market. A lot of Chinese people are buying houses because a lot of people in China, they save their money and they invest it. And a lot of them, it's kind of weird. This is something in real estate. It's not really talked about too much, but some like richer Chinese people will literally just buy properties and just sit it there because it's better than having their money in China, because China's sometimes corrupt.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk
Sometimes.
too bad of China. I'm not the NBA, so I'm not going to say anything good. But a lot of people, we've sold houses. They're Chinese, and they'll hold the house and do nothing with it. It's crazy. So just think about that. Like, there's people all over the world bidding on it, and and in this market, it's hard to get a deal on market. And I consider that with an auction still technically close to on market.
Yeah. So you have the auctions of certificates, which you're basically buying the lien, and you get an interest rate. It doesn't give you any other advantages. And just so you know, a lien expires in 7 years. You have to go through legal maneuvers. So you do have some risk with it. And then you still have to, enact a foreclosure with it, where you can work with the courthouse. I see people all the time buy tax certificates and they don't do anything with them.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? Like, there is no, people who say I buy a tax certificate or I go to a tax deed auction so I can get the upper hand. Listen, if you're going for the auction part, great, knock yourself out, do your homework. Did you guys know that there's tax deeds that it went to auction, nobody bid on it, and the county owns it? They're called over the counter.
Oh,
now there's usually a reason nobody bought the lien.
True.
So a long time ago, not a long time ago, up to 5 years ago, this thing was just in Florida. It was covered in mobile homes. Nobody wanted them.
yeah.
All gone now. You can't get a mobile home to save your life. What happens is they wind up being like really strange pieces of land that nobody can build on and do anything.
Yeah.
And a lot of people buy them not knowing what they're doing. So do your homework.
I'm buying this. I'm buying this $40,000 house for $5,000. That's great. And then there's like a sinkhole, and like you can't get a permit for rebuilding on it. Like, Florida's a weird place, but it's great.
But you can't, like in some smaller towns, like you can go on the over-the-counter deeds. Those are the ones that you don't have to compete on, but you better make sure you're not buying just a chunk of dirt. And sometimes, now in Florida, it was mobile homes and nobody wanted them, and so everything was a mobile home.
Yeah.
Or like empty parking lots. There's very little left. But if I went to like a small town, and the beauty of all the stuff we're talking about, it's all available on your city or county websites.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you what the process is. They'll give you the schedule. And there are opportunities, but like as the market shifts, it will become more prominent and better. But guys, if you stick in the delinquency area, when he hasn't paid his bill, but it's been 6 months, it doesn't look like he's going to pay it, he or she probably has a lot of other problems, and eventually they're going to have to sell that property. Everybody knows if you don't pay your property tax, something bad is going to happen in the long run. So
it's crazy. People that don't pay their property tax and just, it's going to go away.
it doesn't go away.
I think they're gonna forget about it.
Just so you guys know,
crazy.
And they don't, like a property tax. Technically, it's never even a lien because it's always the priority on the price. So it's built into the system, so they don't have to file all this paperwork.
It's true.
So I've bought people's properties 4, 5, 6 years behind. And like, sometimes it doesn't make sense. I'm like, why hasn't this house been forced to auction? Now, let's talk about if they have a mortgage and they're not paying their taxes. What happens?
It's true.
Your good old mortgage company are happy to pay your taxes for you on a good property.
Yeah.
And then they're going to charge you penalty fees.
They love it.
And everything
It's their
else.
favorite.
If it's a really bad property and it's like an older mortgage, they typically won't pay it. So something to kind of keep in mind, because the bank doesn't want it to be foreclosed, because it's going to, when it goes to auction, it's whatever it sells for. Sometimes the bank gets covered. Sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
But it's cheaper to pay it than to risk losing the property.
I agree. So tax liens, we sort of know what they are. You basically, you don't pay your taxes. It's not good. Here's the cool part. How can us wholesalers take advantage of it? And the reason why I'm asking him the questions is because I haven't been doing tax liens for 20 years. This might be a shocker. I haven't been doing tax liens for 20 years.
I tried to train him. I tried to train him when he was 2 and he wouldn't pay attention.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention at 2 years old. So that's why I'm asking Rick most of the time. I mean, I've done plenty of tax liens in the past 5 years. We've seen my fair share of crazy stuff. I remember one deal we did last year. The guy didn't pay his taxes for like 7 years, and the county just Yeah, I don't know. Like
Some counties, they
yes,
forget. People don't want to.
it's
bid on the
crazy.
certificates. I've seen some crazy stuff.
But then there's going to be like places where it's like it's been like 2 years. Auctions this date. Sheriff's coming in, sweeping in, breaking down the house. It's crazy.
So, like a little tip, if you guys are working with a motivated seller, and you should be able to look up to see if they're current on their taxes. If you see a tax certificate issued, you can look at the history. Now, if the person constantly lets it go to last day and then they pay it, to be honest with you, they're typically just a procrastinator.
Yeah.
Now, if someone's paid for like 8 years straight and suddenly there's 2 years they can't pay it, odds are they're going to have to sell the house. Sometimes, by the way, you guys know the homeowner has no idea when the tax certificate they get like 1 or 2 notices in the mail, nothing official. So a lot of times we as investors are telling them, well, listen, there's been a tax certificate sale on your property. Now, I don't want you to panic sellers, but you can get their attention with it. Like, what? Well, and then they'll go like this. Well, what happens now? Well, if you can't resolve this in a reasonable amount of time, your property will go up for auction.
That's true.
And I want to help you. I don't want you to go through that process. I think you've already talked about moving, being closer to the family. Let me help guide you through this process. And then instead of trying to use the fear factor, you can use it as an attention getter, and you can use it as leverage to put your deal together. Most of the deals we buy have delinquent taxes on it. I know that's a shocker.
Oh, yeah. IRS liens, up the wazoo, code violations.
But you can use the property tax. And with what's going on in the last really year, guys, these tax bills are going to be huge on these properties.
Oh, yeah.
So the typical tax bill, so most properties qualify for what they call like an exemption. So if you're the homeowner and you reside in it at least, I don't know, a year or two more, the taxes can only go up, I think 2 or 3%. It's the maximum each state. And the minute you sell it, the county gets that new tax base and they want it.
Yeah.
So a house that sold for $100,000 and now selling for $400,000, they might add a $1,500 tax bill. You might be looking at a $12,000 to $14,000 tax bill. And guys, that's a lot of people get like culture shock on this stuff.
It's crazy. And here's good, not good news, but pretty exciting. Don't you agree that when you're dealing with like a probate situation, a lot of people, when they get probate and they're not used to taxes, they don't pay tax on the probate. They just think, I just inherited this house. I don't have to pay taxes on it. It's not right. It's not in my name. It's most probates are way behind on taxes.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important to understand how they work in your state, because you might not be targeting tax liens, but I would say if you do at least 2 deals a year, there's a very, very good chance within 4 or 5 years, you're going to deal with at least one property like this. And just having the knowledge is going to help you. And with us, I think we do at least 2 deals a month, or someone's like crazily behind on their taxes. And if I include the JV deals we do, it's up the roof. But a lot of probates are like this. And so the advantage of us as wholesalers is a lot of these people just want to sell the property, just get rid of it. And we can help them and provide a solution. So we know the advantage of a tax lien. I mean, the more motivated sellers, of course, there's going to be a lot of people going after these. But so the advantage is they're really motivated. There's a lot of good wholesaling deals there. Now this brings back to, okay, awesome. We know how to do it. How do I find these? Do I go to the clerk of the court and find them? Do I do this? So there's really 2 ways to do it. There's the free way and the paid way. That's kind of how most wholesaling lists are. You can pay and get probate lists. I don't think so. Pre-probate maybe, but you usually go to the clerk of the court. So if you want the best up-to-date information, there's just 2. So the free way, clerk of the court, go to tax liens. They're pretty easy to do. And most clerk of the courts online or in person.
Let me tell you, clerk. So I spent a lot of years going to the clerk of court, which was basically the DMV in my county. And even back when I did it a while back, she's the girl that was getting for it. She used to have to go get her supervisor.
Yeah,
guys, it was not common for me to sit there 2 hours.
Yes,
I don't know, because here's what the average person goes in there and go, can you look up this property and tell me what the tax is? And they do that like that. When you ask for all 100,000 records, they panic.
It's not a very normal
so
ask.
The problem is a lot of really, I'm not going to call them smart people, but creative people have gone in, they get these lists, and then they sell it back to you.
Of course.
And then they ruin it for everyone, because now when I go in there and I honestly want the list, For full disclosure, I used to tell them I was doing a research paper, but there's not a lot of 50-year-olds in college, so it doesn't
You're a
work as
professor.
well. Professor.
You're professor of wholesaling.
Professor of wholesaling. And I get it, but as each year went by, it got harder and so like the last time I went, it took like 35 days.
Well, you know, I tell everyone here, right? There's
me.
students doing research. They're students of us, and they got to do their own independent research with us. So, yes, okay. So
it's not as easy as it used to be.
Yes, but in some states, like let's say I want to do St. Lucie County, the clerk of the court's pretty easy. I go somewhere else, like Florida's. I'm just gonna be honest, Florida's very easy for data. It simply is. I try to go to like San Diego or like somewhere in like SoCal. A lot harder, and the stuff's like very advanced. And sometimes
you got to get through the plexiglass shield. They got like two of them.
Okay, yes.
Like what? Like how many people do you guys tick off here? I don't understand.
Okay, I'm just saying in Florida, most of the time I literally just pull it up, and go from there. Now, for anywhere else, it's kind of harder. So you gotta go in person. Sometimes it's harder, but for a lot of the times, just try the clerk of the court. Go to literally county space clerk of the court, public records, sort by tax liens or just liens, and you'll find them all in there. That's a really good one, and that's kind of the freeway. So
some states are a little bit different.
Yes.
So you have a property appraiser's office. Somehow, like the DMV is tied into it. So any type of tax collecting authority for your county is really the best place. And just be super nice and just go in like a regular person. And
well, if you walk
questions.
in, so let's say you live in Atlanta, okay, Fulton County. I throw you in there, clerk of the court. How are you going to get out with a tax lien list? What are your exact words?
You walk in. I'm going to start at the information desk.
Okay, what do you say?
Go, listen, I need to get some specific tax information on some houses in Fulton County. What's the best way to go about doing it? And I'm just going to ask nicely. Even if I know the answer, that's how I'm going to start.
Say that again, please. Just for the people. Why? Even
I'm going to go up to the information desk. Like they all have an information desk. Do. Okay. And so what you'll do is I won't do it.
No.
Well, you pull your mask down and then you're going to talk to them and you're going to say, listen, I need to get some specific information on some properties for Fulton County. Who is the person that can help me do this? And then eventually they'll direct you to one person.
Yes. It's like recording or the lien department.
They're going to treat you like a terrorist somewhat. They're just going to go,
I would agree.
What do you want this information? What are you doing?
Who are you?
I don't understand why you need all this stuff.
Who do you work for?
So you guys have to prepare it because most people just go like this, oh, I don't know. I'll come back. Nine times out of 10, they're trying to chase you.
No. You want to hear a crazier story? I have people that come in the lives here. They're like, I couldn't get the probate list. Why? Walk in. Who are you? What do you want? I'm an investor. And I'm trying to buy properties. And no. I provide solutions for people with cash offers. They're like, and they just didn't give me the list.
Yeah.
They're the government. They have to get, again, it's the government. They should, it's your right to have it. But these are human beings who are working behind them and they got attitudes, and a lot of people are working government jobs.
No.
If they don't like corporations, they're working a government job because they don't want to work for a company.
Yeah.
If they know you're a private corporation trying to resell the data or use it for profit, they're just going to nah.
They're going to give you roadblocks. So I've even had them where I had to meet with the city attorney to get like past that, which to be honest with you, to me, it's easy to get
I've had a city. I remember
I could pass an attorney easily.
One of the city attorneys, I had to meet with him in person. He told me there has never been an affidavit of equitable interest ever recorded in this county. I say this. I'm like, look, here's 10 I filed last year. He's like, well, I'm new. And I'm like, you just told me there's never been one affidavit ever filed. And I just showed you 10 I did last year with my name signed on them. He's like, we're still not going to let it. And I had to get a lawyer. It's a full thing. I'm just, government employees think
you might get some resistance, but understand sometimes you're getting people's opinion. And if you work through enough people in there, you'll eventually get the truth. What you want to do is get to their policy. And like, so I remember one time I used to have to bring my own USB stick.
Yeah.
At one point they had to send an email. The email was too big. And then we had to do like a Google link. And it's like, they just don't want everybody reselling the information.
Here's the cool part. I get super excited when someone says that.
Yeah.
Because that means other wholesalers can't go in there and do it.
I've had them give it to me in a PDF format. Like I'm just
so painful
in my head. I'm like, oh my gosh. But I always ask it in Excel format or like a CSV file. It makes your life heck of a lot easier. And guys, a lot of times I'm no master at Excel. I understand it, but like there's a lot of moving parts on it. You can have someone just go, listen, can you get every house that's over 700,000 removed off there, any county owned property, this, and then they'll sort that list for you. You can go on Fiverr for like 10, 15 bucks and they'll do it for you. It would take me 4 hours to like do that list. I won't even bother.
Yeah, true.
Pivot tables.
So, all right, we walk in
Macros.
there, we get the list. It'll be in whatever way possible. I think we kind of broke it down. You want an Excel CSV if they ask. I remember code violations in a certain county. They just gave me a PDF. And you know what's the kicker on that one? Right when I remember this, I was first starting out. I was so mad. They gave me the PDF. Of course, you couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
They made it sideways too, just to mess with me. They had 300 pages and it was like this. They just flipped it sideways to like.
So you have to get an OCR scanner, or really, it's just cheaper to pay a VA to sort it. But it costs you a couple.
There's some softwares that'll read it and do it for you.
It's got to be perfect though.
Yeah,
but if it's sideways or crooked.
But honestly, like we cleaned up doing those code violation lists because no one would like put the work in.
So the harder the list,
we
guys,
spent $40, maybe $40 a month on a VA to do that for us, and it easily made so much money from it. So I just think it's super, super important we understand exactly how to go up and talk to these people when pulling the list in person, because you walk in there and you say you're an investor. You are first of all, you're saying the I word, which I do not say the I word. It's investor. It's a negative connotation.
So use the word like I'm a tax-paying citizen in Fulton County,
or a private,
because it's true,
tax-paying citizen for independent research.
Yeah, and I'm doing some independent research.
You're not lying.
I'm working on a school paper, or I want to calculate the foreclosures to the tax delinquency rate.
I'm doing my own independent research. I'm a private tax-paying citizen.
Correct.
That is literally what you are. Because yes, you do own a real estate wholesaling company, but you also are your own private citizen. These are two separate things. So you just use that route, right?
Yeah. But I mean, you pay your taxes. I pay my taxes. You have the right to that information. What we're telling you is, don't freak out when you get resistance. You have to be trained when you do
should
this.
celebrate
So
that.
If we're training you on how to deal with motivated sellers on a wholesale deal, these people got to be the easiest part you're going to solve. Like when people go, I'm going to send the attorney out there. I'm like, attorneys don't sell. They just read stuff from manuals and they try to intimidate you, and it doesn't even slightly faze me.
Yes.
And what they'll do is they'll hold their resistance on average for 1 or 2 comments. You can remember we teach you the volley comment, like when they just serve it back and go, hey,
like 3 times.
There's most of the time they just get tired of it and they're like, okay, he's not going to go away. She's not going away. She's annoying. Guys, this works. I've sent my wife in to do it with very little training. By the way, I'm just going to tell you, women typically get further with this because they're more alert. So if you go, oh my God, look at that is a beautiful pendant. I love it. Where did you get it from? And you just start complimenting them. By the way, every government office I go to, they always have a picture of their kids. They have their vacation spot. And that's where you just got it. Like once you break them and get a smile, 9 times out of 10, they're like, okay, here's what you got to do. And they'll lean in and tell you, and that's what you're going to do. But guys, don't let a government employee take you out from the list. You need it for like motivated sellers.
It's like wholesaling though. Like if you get the list too easy, they're like, oh, here's all the code violations all set up. It's scary. Like it's like my first 2 deals. They were so easy compared to the other deals I did after.
And I was scared of that. When he did the first 2 deals, I go, he's going to get his teeth kicked in. I'm going
it was
teach
too
him how
easy.
hard this business is. And he goes, hey, Dad, I got this guy who wants to sell a house. I go,
it's
crazy.
crazy.
At my wife, I go, man, we're going to create a monster here.
It was a monster because just like we threw out the price to 25. I was stuttering.
You should do a whole show.
It was terrible. And then the next deal. Here's a $40,000 deal. I'm like 17, like I'm the champ for this. I'm the best wholesaler ever. And then it's like, oh, we got to start cold calling. Oh shoot. And then it got a little different. I started door knocking.
He goes, hey, do you mind if I start cold calling? I go, knock yourself out.
See that?
Gave him a script. We taught him how to pull the phone numbers. And then he's like, but you have to persevere through each one of them.
Yes. But this comes back to if something's too easy in wholesaling, it's probably not good. Like if it's too easy getting the list. And this is another thing for deals I think we don't talk about enough is, this is not for every single thing. Because you have to have some of a sixth sense on this, but if a wholesaling deal seems too good to be true, sometimes it is.
Oh, I've had that.
And I think it's very important. Like, I'm not talking like there's like a $20,000 profit. I'm talking like $150,000 profit. Like, you see the property here's worth 300, like the ARV and the comps and everything, and the guy wants to sell for 40.
Mm-hmm.
And then you walk to the house and the house is like charred to a crisp. Like, just remember, if them's like too good to be true, sometimes it is. I remember during my Bandit sign war days, I had people calling my Bandit signed and trying to set me up on a random appointment that was fake because I was putting a 40-year-old man out of business who had 2 kids because I was putting that many Bandit signs out at 17. That guy, they're angry.
Are there jealous wholesalers out there in the markets?
I was putting this guy on the streets.
Why
it
would
was not
somebody
good.
go through? And I've seen people like they black out people's signs, they pull people's
You
signs.
will not outwork me for Bandit signs. You will not outwork me.
I've
You're not working me there.
I've never understood that. Like,
because those people that are like 40, they got kids and stuff. They have to go to dinner. When you're at dinner, I'm just throwing out Bandit signs. Like I'm up before you. I'm up later than you.
You were like the Bandit.
I was the Bandit sign kid,
Oh.
and I was putting a lot of people out of business that were used to just making the regular old money, and it just came in. But the thing is, with something is too good to be true, just be very, very careful. This goes back to very common sense stuff. Like, you go on an appointment, we tell our acquisitions person, still be safe. Like, you walk in someone's house and they just lock the door behind you.
I don't know.
Be careful.
I'm
like,
freaked out about that.
you got to just have common sense with things. Like, if someone wants to sell their $500,000 house for $100,000, please do some common sense.
So the beauty of tax delinquencies, there's a very good trail to authenticate the motivation. Like, you can't really.
I do this too. I don't think
BS
we don't mention this. If someone says their name's John C. Calhoun and the owner is Mary Beth,
yeah,
just ask that question before you go in the appointment. You don't want to waste. Oh, well, Mary Sue's actually my cousin. Well, can I meet with her? There's no point of going on a tax lien appointment if Mary Beth isn't even going to be there. All the decision makers have to be there.
The representative.
I've wasted my time so many times. You have to do it right.
Yeah, no, but tax delinquency, it's like black and white, and you can. If it sounds too good, you can quiz them. Like, have you paid the last 2 years' taxes? They know the answer. Then you can test them if they're telling the truth. I love asking any motivated seller a question I already know the answer to, because I can gauge their veracity in selling me the house. And so anytime you can do your research, do it. And that goes with social media, anything you do with people, because in the old days, we were just blind. We would go off pictures off the wall. Now social media, I see grandmas on social media now.
Oh my gosh.
Not that that's a problem, but
I know. So I just think it's super important we do that. So we're kind of breaking down how to get the list there. And now it comes back to what kind of marketing are we doing? Now, I think we kind of talked about it a little bit before, but there's kind of roughly 3-ish marketing channels you do with tax liens, I think, have the best success. I'll call it 4. Okay. So number 1, we could cold call them. I don't recommend it. It's just tough. It's very difficult.
The phone to begin with.
Yes, but hey, do it, right? If you want to do it, do it.
Yeah.
Number 2 here is SMS text blasting. We do very well with that.
You got to get them on the phone though.
Pre-foreclosure, this is very similar to pre-foreclosures, completely different concepts, but pre-foreclosure is very, very similar. So texting is good for that one. Next here, I would say, is mail. Obviously, like we do a ton of mail, and that works very well. But number 4 here, I don't gloss over mail way too much because I think it's for a lot of people making over $100,000 per year. Obviously, there's a lot of people making over hundreds of thousands of dollars per year in wholesaling that watch our stuff. So I will include it because we do this. It was mail. Mm-hmm. We give them the offer postcard.com, but we like texting a little more. But mail is really good, again, for higher level mail. And then number 4 here is reverse drawing for dollars. Drawing for dollars is okay-ish, but reverse drawing for dollars, this is kind of like door knocking. I would put door knocking and reverse drawing for dollars in the same category. You walk up to the person with a sticky note. Hey, this is Rick. Please give me a call back. And he's sticking on all the tax liens.
Uh-huh.
You can get a very, very high contact rate, or you can just knock on the door and talk. I think this is a really fun thing. I've done my fair share of door knocking. I think you have too.
I started out door knocking.
What's the most exciting part about door knocking is that everyone is in denial, right? A lot of people are in denial.
Oh, it's complete denial.
So can we kind of talk about that? Because there's gonna be so many people door knocking, and you're like, none of these people are actually behind on their taxes. This is weird. They all said everything's good.
Well, the problem is you got to bring it up without insulting them and getting kicked out the door.
That's the tough one.
So here's the downside of tax delinquencies and any type of foreclosure, pre-foreclosure. I'll tell you right now, they take a ton of time, meaning you have to have a lot of in-depth conversations. There's no way around it. Like that. Listen, they're in that position usually for a reason. Now, what happens, any type of lien or like foreclosure, is they start out, when they get the initial contact, it freaks them out. Like, oh my gosh, well, what happens? They start to build this, what I call procrastination muscle. 1 month you let it go by. The next month gets a little bit easier. After a while, every letter is like, yeah, whatever. And look, hey, honey, the letter's red. The letter's pink now. And you've like falsely, I bought people's houses right up to the day it was being foreclosed on, and they're in complete denial. Now, here's the problem with them, especially on tax liens, is sometimes they get so deep in denial, they don't think anything's ever going to happen.
True.
And so if you can catch them in the beginning, which we talk about tax delinquency, or you have to catch them like 30 to 60 days before the auction. The problem is you catch them within 30 days of the auction. It's hard because you have to get an attorney involved to stop it.
We get this question.
Is in that middle is they just like, nothing's going to happen. We're good. Let's just keep talking. And I've spent 4 or 5 hours with these people. Like, man, are they ever going to come to a decision? And what happens in that last 30 days, all of a sudden, all these, once it hits that auction calendar, all these like, that's a terrible word, like little cockroaches spur around the house, and they're like peeking through the windows. Now they're freaked out. Now they call you again and go, hey, Rick, I'm ready to sell you the house. I go, there's nothing I can do. You got to basically file bankruptcy to push it off.
Every time.
Well, how do I do that? What do I do? I go, I don't do that part. You just need to call an attorney. There's no judge in the world that's going to cancel that foreclosure when you've ignored.
It hurts. I want to help these people. I just can't.
There's nothing you can do, because now their motivation's through the roof. And it's like, listen, remember when I told you? And so the more you can learn on how to educate these people, so you have to educate them. When you educate them, it costs a lot of time and energy. And let's face it, guys, I don't want to spend 15 hours like talking to someone who's not going to sell me a house. It drives me nuts. So if you catch them in the beginning, you got a shot. But once they get 3-4 months in, they're like, nothing's going to happen. I don't care. Like, they're never going to take the house. And then one day they get this, auction notice, and you have 30 days to leave. And they're like, oh my God.
Well, sometimes the sheriff posts on the door. That's the only way they see it.
It does. And on average, they get about 30 days to get out of there. And
it's rough.
It's tough. And now you're in a real bad position. And listen, I don't buy houses at auctions. I don't. He or she that pays the most. I tell everyone I ever buy a house from, I will never pay you the most. Well, I will be your best buyer.
Even with a redemption, what's the point? Like, it's too risky. Put $40K in the house, they get it back.
They can trash it.
And guess what? They buy it usually at the rate of the auction, or even worse, or like just pay off the deed and they get the redemption back. And like right now with the appreciation that's going on, it's stupid not to.
Yeah.
So
I love tax delinquency. I mean, these tax bills that are coming up in the future, guys, they're going to bury them, because I think the tax rates, let's face it, like as these houses, as people get older and people pass away and the younger generation takes over, the tax base goes up. That's what the government wants. Someone's got to fund these bills. So the days of $1,000, $2,000 tax bills, now you're looking at $10,000 and $12,000 ones. These things can be substantial. And by the way, guys, when you negotiate with a motivated seller, it's important you understand, especially before you meet with them. And if you use REI List inside
listrei.com.
Sorry, I'm backwards. Listrei.com. It tells you right on the front page if they're current on their taxes. You can click a tab and it'll tell you if there's a tax certificate.
It's true.
So the old days, I'd have to dig through 3 websites and go deep into it and make phone calls. It's right in front of you. Now, if they're behind on their taxes, odds are you got a good candidate for a motivated seller. And so before you throw out, I'm going to pay all your closing costs and you're going to net like 80 grand, understand it. Like, I've put my foot in my mouth and eaten $10,000, $15,000 tax bills because I promised the world.
Yeah.
And if you know that before you're going in, even if you guys virtually, you're talking on the phone, when you pull it up on your list right there, it's right there, and you can like figure it out. Someone who's 3-4 years behind with taxes, they need to sell that house. Don't kid yourself for a second. And that's the power of using the tools. And that's why I love some of the modern tools we use.
Excuse me, fish.
Brushing up on the back of my hair here. So
it's true. So now we know how to market. I would say door knocking, you just got to know what to do. So let's just do a quick role play real quick. You're knocking on my door. What are you saying?
So this one, it's challenging today.
It sucks. It's not fun.
It's not fun.
There's not one scenario where it's really fun to do. Cold calling, I have fun.
So I find through experience over time, it's easier to do the non-confrontational way and be like the third party.
100%.
So you're really good at this. So if you want me to do the third party one, or so what we say by third party instead of
there's a
Rick
couple
Zach
of
being
them.
the investor. So here's the old line we used. I don't recommend this one, but it back in the day, like as long as you knocked on the door, you could make it work.
It's a different world in 2005 too.
Because I got to tell you, when you knock on the door, the first words out of their mouth are, "Who are you?" Right?
Yes, and they're used to, and they know they're behind on credit cards and stuff, so they're on heightened mode.
Yeah.
So it
different. And that's if they don't let the dog out to chase you down the road, which has happened to me. So our old line used to be, "Hey, Mr. Seller, I've noticed the impending problem you have on the house. How are you dealing with it?" And I would tell you, you would literally go in a defensive position. 9 out of 10 would go, "What the hell are you talking about? And who do you think you are?"
Yep.
And I didn't have any training back then. I shot from the hip, and that's what I was told.
Well, we got to understand this. You know this better than anyone. I think I understand. I've learned this from you too. Is we live in a keeping up with the Joneses world in the United States. It's how am I better than my neighbor? Who's got the richest stuff? Especially where we are at here in South Florida. Everyone's like that. Who's got the coolest cars, all that. And so if someone, it's embarrassing for them and they don't want their friends knowing. So what are you talking about? I'm behind on my taxes. No, I'm not.
Yeah,
you will get, you say that, you will just get shut down.
So if you have a car that's wrapped or done anything, and I did all like that cute stuff. I'm just saying, you are going to kill your deal on anybody in foreclosure or tax delinquency. It says, "I buy houses," or like, "I do this." It just, they're going to shut you down to get you out of there because you're parked outside.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but like, I got nosy neighbors. Everybody wants to know what the hell you're doing. Like, what was that guy doing here? Why is he We Buy Houses? Is your house in foreclosure? And like, you're going to ruin it. So let's go on how we talk to somebody on a third party position.
Yeah. So there's two ways I have seen. So there's number one where I play good cop, bad cop. And that's my favorite. You? So let's do good cop, bad cop. Okay. This is going to be me working with you or having a partner. Okay. Knock, knock, knock. Hello.
What do you want?
Hey, this is Zach. How are you doing? Can I talk real quick? Or are you busy?
How'd you get past my Ring doorbell?
I don't know. I just rang it. I work actually for one of my partners, and he's looking to buy houses in the neighborhood. And I'm just going around looking throughout the neighborhood, seeing if anyone's possibly looking to sell their house.
Why isn't he here?
Well, I do the door knocking for him. He's a little older than me. I'm younger. I can go out here in the heat. It's like 90 degrees outside. He'd die in the heat.
So you're like the do boy, right?
Sorta. I'm just going out here knocking on doors, just seeing if anyone's looking to sell their house. I mean, he's just looking to buy some more houses.
Is he serious?
He's pretty serious.
Yeah.
And he's bought a couple here on Street X, Street Y, past couple months, and he's just looking to buy more. I mean, we're a local. We're just looking to buy them.
Listen, I got some issues with this house. Like, you don't know the whole story. So
okay.
I don't know if you're probably not interested.
Well, he's bought some crazy houses. And I mean, this house looks pretty nice. I mean, it's not the most nicest house ever, but it's not rough. My partner, he buys crazy houses. Like, he's bought houses that are burned down. He's bought houses that are like hoarders houses. This house, I mean, I can see kind of inside the door. It looks pretty clean. I mean, you keep it up pretty well. There is some issues. I mean, obviously we're in Florida. Hurricanes are everywhere. There's roof leaks. He usually likes to fix them up, or him or his partners like to fix them up. He's just looking to buy them. So in any condition, we can buy it. It's all cash.
So what do we do? Like, what if I need to sell it? Do I call you? Do I call him? Or like, are you going to give me a contract? What are we going to do?
Well, usually what happens is I'll just take down your information, and what he's going to see if it's a good fit for him. He doesn't buy every single house he looks at. I mean, that'd be a lot of houses he has to buy, but really whatever's a good criteria for him. So if it fits for him, he will go give you some information and probably give you a call. All I really need from you is your name and your phone number, and maybe he can get in contact with you, meet him. He's a pretty nice guy, and he just wants to see you and see if it's a good fit.
You want my Instagram handle?
Sure. DM me.
Slick Rick.
Okay, so let's kind of break this down.
Yeah.
Good cop, bad cop. So number one, you got to put him off guard. I'm not the mean guy looking to buy your house because of X, Y, and Z. I'm just the do boy, right?
Yeah.
Number two, take him off guard. We're local.
Yeah.
Okay. Number three, I try to not seem intimidating. I don't like to call it intimidating, but I'm just trying to feel like, not soft, but like, hey, I'm not trying to scare you, intimidate you.
Not imposing.
I'm not trying to impose on you. And I'm just trying to, I have a smile on my face. I'm looking you in the eye. And really, I can't do this. I think you can't either. You can't fake it either. I'm not good at faking things. I can't lie to someone in their face or just act like a slick salesperson.
It's hard to keep up with the truth.
Seriously, I say the truth.
It's just easier to tell
My
the truth.
partner, he's looking to buy houses.
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to do.
That's it.
Him and his partner, sometimes they'll fix it up. Sometimes they'll rent it out because we rent plenty of properties we bought. And then sometimes we'll resell them if it's a bad house. We do so many different situations. Like, I can't lie. But the authenticity, people can actually see it. Yeah. And it's something underlying you can't do. I'm not an actor.
So the beauty part of the third party person, you have a pivot point. So if it goes south and I start screaming and lighting him up, he's just going to like, listen, I'm just going to leave a note here.
That's
pack
it.
Look it over. If you got any questions, you can give him a call directly. And it's very like, you can just back away. Hey, I'm just the delivery guy.
Yeah.
No habla español. Kind of like one of those. Or the other
no
one
habla
is,
inglés.
Okay, well, my Spanglish isn't good. The other one is they go, no, I really want to talk to somebody about my property. I know you're just a do boy, but like I go, well, you know what? I got a good ear. I can listen and I can communicate.
And you have to understand this. Do not over talk someone if you're being the do boy. Like, don't talk about comps, ARV. You know everything.
You're not the do boy anymore.
You see? And
even if you are I'm not telling you to be the liar.
Did you see how you kind of like, walk in, look at it, and give me a contract? Of course, I'll go give you an offer right now. No, see, that's gonna trigger something. Wait, is this guy really?
You just got to collect the information,
and then you can't be going on I can't go on that appointment.
Yeah.
You would have to, or acquisitions person would have to go to.
Correct. So it gives you an out because a lot of people will be very hostile and rude to you, and it takes it away. Like, so most of these people are hardworking people, and they're trying to make it so. Like, they're like, well, most people don't want to treat people like garbage. Like, I'm just going to be honest with you. And if that's the way, you just want to get out of there.
And I tried building a tiny amount of rapport, nothing crazy. Like, it's really hot outside. Like, just something to connect with them. And I was pretending like I was someone going like your age, where not your age. Like, most people who are over the age of 30, they don't be walking around all day in the sun. So they can relate to that. Like, hey, my partner, here's me walking around on the day. And then you're like, I agree. Because, I mean, who likes being out in the hot sun? But if I'm like a really younger teenager type person, they're like, okay, I get it. He's young. He can do the hard work. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to connect and make a little bit of rapport, nothing crazy.
Yeah. And I like the third party because it gives the excuse. Do not do it the way like I showed you the first time.
No,
I bludgeoned myself for 2 years. And now I still got deals doing that.
True.
But it was painful. And I used to run a lot faster back then. So when the dogs got loose, you know the song "Who Let the Dogs Out"?
Oh my gosh!
I'm not kidding you. I had a Rottweiler chase me. I didn't know I had that.
But also, that's a report piece. So if you hear a dog barking,
yeah.
Hey, what kind of dog do you have?
I didn't have time for that one.
You didn't.
I did not have time for that one. I'm telling you.
No, you were kind of sprinting, but that's kind of how it was, and that's the best way to door knock. I just, it's tough, but you get deals doing that. The third party, if you understand, let's do it. But guys, that's tax liens, that's tax delinquencies.
That was a lot of information.
That was a lot of info. So
catch them in the beginning.
Yes.
And understanding they're the master procrastination. People with tax lien stuff have more. They have more voicemails than anybody I've ever met. You ever like, hey, my voice message box is full. I used to teach him. I used to get so excited on Motivated Seller because that means they're not answering anyone. You just have to get through. No messages are getting through.
Oh
my voicemail's so full and I'm so overwhelmed. I can't push delete on my messages. So, anyways,
all right. So we got a lot of info, so let's answer some questions real quick. Little lightning round, see what we can help the people out with. So, yes, this will be extremely helpful. That's awesome. I know. Let's see here. What's up, Jamie? We will prevail. Thank you. Also, I will always think this tax lien is hard as people are trying to sell their I always think this tax lien is hard as people are trying to sell you their programs.
Guys, you do not need a course for tax lien, and it's so black and white. Honestly, your course is going to be your county website.
Oh, exactly.
They just take money off of a guru's plate there.
Oh no. Bergen County, New Jersey. What is up, guys? Also, use the comments to connect. And people watching this are trying to get better every single day. These are the wholesalers in the comments right now that are actively here every day trying to get better, that you want to connect with, because these are people very motivated. You don't want to go the guy on Facebook that spends like an hour a day doing wholesaling or even trying to get better.
Yeah.
They're not really getting better. The people that are actually watching this getting better every single day, these are the people you want to like be connected
you can
with.
refer to them. You can talk to us. You want to get around like-minded people. And guys, you just don't want to go on like Facebook or Instagram and someone goes, well, I tried that. I tried the mail, or I tried to cold call, and it was terrible.
Or here's my favorite. Rick Ginn's a scam.
Yeah.
A scam? How did I scam you? I didn't give you any money.
Yeah, I'm a 19-year scam, and I don't take a dime from
I took no money from you. How am I a scam?
But scam, yeah. But listen, everybody's got an opinion on the internet, and you've got to understand that. So make sure you want to walk a mile in someone's shoes before you take their advice, because there's no way to verify what anybody says on the internet. So you can only see what people do.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, often what they say and what they do. And we're completely in a massive marketing world.
Yeah. So, Steve is always on here from Boston. He's the man.
Boston.
There's a good actually, the Patriots game is going to be really good this week. Patriots and Buccaneers. Tom Brady. That'd be a fun one. So they're playing in Boston. That'd be a tough one.
Yeah, well.
Here we go. Here we are again. Juanero's from Minnesota.
That's pretty good. You memorized that.
Oh, I got like an eidetic memory, so I remember these pretty. And these people are on here every day. I have to know them. Your other guru doesn't know who anyone's from because they're too good. You know, they got their Lamborghini, they got their Rolex. They're all cool.
And so you guys know, on average, because I've worked with so many wholesalers and I've watched people over 19 years. Not only in 6 months can you massively change your life, in 2 years, you radically change your life in wholesaling. It's a quick 24 months. So the people that have endured with us, I don't know, whatever, how long you've been coming here, just understand, you look on your calendar, go, okay, 6 months, I'm going to prove my theory. You could do it. He did it in little as 30 days. And in 24 months, I'm going to be a master of my trade. 24 months goes by so fast.
Oh gosh.
I mean, we talked about a pandemic here. We're almost 2 years after it. So people decided to get better at their craft and their personal being, or you just sat in front of the TV and go, oh my God, I can't breathe anymore.
I know.
So I think most people on that, you guys, you've got to understand 24 months goes by so fast. The older I get, the faster it goes. When you're young, it seems like slow motion. That is a gift. It is a huge asset. Being young, I would give up everything I have except my family to go back in this 20-year-old version.
Good, because I wouldn't be born if you did that.
Wow, I know. Well,
we're not going to get in time travel.
Like a Back to the Future episode.
We're not going to do the time travel logic. We're not going to do all that.
I'm just telling you guys, youth is your greatest asset. I don't care how much debt, how much crap you got going on with it. I'm just telling you, if you're young, you are in charge of everything going on, and you can fix it. So don't let your past dictate your future.
True. Speaking of someone who's always on here, MJJ Smooth Criminal.
I like that.
Oh, he's always on here. He's always providing value, and he's always supporting us.
You got to put
Thank
him
you
on.
so much. I'm trying to put all these people on.
I like
JK finally get to join the chat on a live. Woohoo! Congrats.
It is live, isn't it? Are we live?
I don't think we're live. Are we live?
I think we're live.
I don't know. It sounds
somebody
like
can verify we're live on the chat, so we don't get accused of not doing a live.
I'm trying to,
because you believe it or not, there's people out there that do lives and they're recorded. And
they
says
see it
live
says
now,
6 on it,
and that's
I know.
That's like the new. I'm not calling it a scam, but it's creative.
Oh, I could call it these some big wholesaling podcasts. Just gonna say it. It'll say live streaming, and they won't answer one question. It'll just cut right back, and the quality looks really good.
Well,
Why do you think?
a lot of
Why do you
times-
think that? Why? Why are they answering no questions from anyone? So let's see here. These are all people having fun with the intro we got.
You
I
might
love
want to
this.
close on that intro.
What's
It's
up?
that powerful. I love it.
Thanks, Rick. What the? Get up! Get up! Let's
See?
go!
Fire. We should have that thing like running on the big screen behind us.
Oh
That'd be
my
so
gosh,
much fun,
what is
dude.
this? I
I
play
love
this
it.
on Saturday for my kids.
See? I'm
Oh
telling
my
you, man,
gosh.
it's catchy. I saw it. I go, man, we gotta run.
That
with this.
info threw me off. It shouldn't throw you off. It should pump you up.
That's what you. I mean, let me tell you what. I'll be honest with you. When I used to sit down and do my follow-ups, any type of thing, I'd sit down and gear myself up.
You have
If
to.
it's YouTube, like pump up videos, whatever you got to do, you have to be in a mindset. So anybody who studies,
There's two songs get you pumped up. Number one, In the Air Tonight, Phil Collins. If you're cold calling, put that song on. You're going to get jacked up to go.
Yeah, you know,
That's a pump up song. Are you kidding me?
you're trying to go back to my generation.
No, it's a great song.
It takes so long to get into it.
That's the point.
It takes so long.
And then number two is Kanye West Power. Come on. You can't
Well,
beat that
what
one.
about Metallica, Enter Sandman?
Enter Sandman's really good.
Thank you.
Again, that's a pretty good one. Okay. We're not gonna
I
answer
like
this
the
one.
Geico commercial, the Pump It Up one.
Oh my gosh.
Scoop, there it is.
Oh my
Come
gosh.
on, dude. I got to give Geico
Uh,
a marketing credit. It's just incredible what they do with that
So
stuff.
okay, Joe B says you should text us. We're not gonna answer this one for Rick because he's gonna go crazy.
But don't get me
I
started.
thought
on
they are our
taxes.
clients. Every state is different. I agree. I'm working on tax liens. That's tough. Good content. I appreciate that. Some questions really quick. Hey guys, do you have any experience with Data Zap? No. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Raphael, what is up? Raphael's been on a couple live. I'm
Okay.
starting to know some more and more. So, Raphael, let me know what market you're in, just so I can remember. I can kind of gear things towards your market. For Steve, I try to gear towards Boston, but Boston's such a tough one. I know Donna's up there.
Boston's got a lot of multi-units.
It's not a unique market. I mean, it is a unique market. That's the issue. Like,
a lot of properties.
there's a lot of properties, and they're all older too.
A lot of investment, a lot of old
know.
investment properties.
When I talk about, remember, we're buying this other house, and I'm like, we're buying an old house. It's from 1964.
Yeah.
And then I got you guys like, I bought this house I'm wholesaling from
They
1892.
got this white fluffy stuff up there, which
Oh
I
my
don't.
God.
I see it in my freezer, but that's as far as I want to see it.
But
Maybe a ski slope.
Raphael says, let's say right before the seller signs, they tell you another wholesaler's offered more. What do? And how do we get them to prove it? Can you offer the seller an incentive? It's a good question. There's a lot of things we can do here.
Yeah. So Raphael, how I always start out is if you set up the framing before you have the conversation, 9 times out of 10, this will eliminate it. Meaning, if I'm going in to meet with them and I go through my spiel, I want to know if there's anybody else in play. And that's the point they'll tell you. So before they go in and you preface it with a framing is, well, I'm meeting with so-and-so and so-and-so. You know that up front. When they spring it on you in, now you have to kind of backpedal. And the only reason a seller does this is why they're trying to get you to pay more.
True.
And so
I've had sellers lie to me doing this. I've had sellers tell the truth.
Yeah.
We currently have a deal right now where the second biggest wholesale in Port St. Lucie has a backup contract signed on the deal.
It's so cute.
We're going to make $30,000 on it, but the guy signed a backup contract.
We are getting competition with backup contracts.
This wholesaler, who we both know, has a backup contract executed with earnest money at a title company because they still don't believe we're going to close in the house.
Yeah, I know.
I'm buying this just out of spite. Like, come on. Like, this is ridiculous.
I never do backup.
And this guy's making he makes like $50K a month. I'm like, why are you playing this game? Like, there's plenty of money. Like, we're making 7 figures in net and you're making like $50K a month. Why are you doing this? What's with the scarcity mindset?
You just incentivize us more to follow through on the deal.
Oh
so
my gosh,
maybe
these
we
people
just sell it to them. That'd be funny.
They won't buy it.
Yeah.
So
what I'm saying is, if you truly have a motivated seller and you go through the framing, if you guys go to freewholesaling.com, we walk you through the whole thing. Is you get a lot of these bombshell questions, you get them up front. So you have the entire, if you're spending 30, 40 minutes on the phone or in person with them to deal with it. I always tell people, I am not your highest bidder, but most
No.
people I'm dealing with, they need to sell the house and they need someone to come through. You guys know that last little bit, the higher you go up in price, the more minutia comes with it, which means inspections and all that stuff. And Mr. Seller, I thought when we originally talked, you just wanted to get the house sold and you wanted to get it done. You want to make sure it was
it's just like a
reputable
deal we're
person.
buying. So I want to give an example.
Yeah.
We're buying a house for $60,000 and we're buying it for 60. And then I'm like, well, we can sell it for 150. Amazing deal. But to sell it for 150, we could actually push to like 170 if we put 10K into it. And if we sold it with just buying it for 60, we could probably sell it for 120. But if we put 10, we can probably get an extra 40 out of it. And you're like, oh, we got to put 10,000 in a rehab. But I'm like, you both agree we should, but it's just like, well, what if the seller wanted to sell for 90? Would we do it? And I'm like, duh, easily for 90, we sell it for 120. That's a good deal still. Yeah. So why don't we just put 10 into the 60, turn it into 70 and sell it for 155 on the market for over ask?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't understand that when it comes to real estate investing is, what if the seller made you sign it for 20K more and you're making 50? Obviously you still sign that. So put some money into it and then you can probably get even crazier ROI for certain properties. But
so
yeah,
freewholesaling.com, you go through the framing, you can usually get this question out long before you start the negotiation.
Yes.
So let's talk about, you're in the fire. Raphael's made the offer. Hey, we have someone that's offering more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just be straight to the point.
Yeah.
What are they offering you? Do they have a proven track record?
True.
And just kind of walk them through it and see. Now, if they have a legitimate contract and stuff like that, either they're going to show it to you or they're going to bait you up. But honestly, if you're making a really nice profit, you know what to do. If you go to the route where, okay, if say you offered somebody 100,000, he's offering 105, and you've established the value is 150. I'm going to go back and go, seller, here's what I say. Mr. Seller, why didn't you just go ahead and sign the contract with him? If it's just about money, why didn't you just ink the deal? And 9 times out of 10, especially if you preface, it's like, I like you, Rick. I rather sell you the deal, but I really would like to get 105. And so if you know the profit's in there, I'm going to go back to him and say, listen, if I give you 105, will you sign the deal right now as is?
Ooh,
like end of story. Like that's it. And then you're going to listen. If they don't sign it, obviously it's not it's just like it gets a little bit crazy. So
yeah,
I'm going to use it as leverage. Like, even though like I feel like I shouldn't pay more than 100, but like sometimes, especially in this market, you got to get deals done.
Definitely. So that's a good one there. So
leverage it for a signature right there, because that signature means a lot. So if I honestly, in this market, if you had to pay $5,000 to get the deal done right there, it's not a bad cost.
It's not at all. So last couple questions here. Can't get to every question, unfortunately, today. But Wayne from Tampa is always killing it. Kenny is always supporting us. Kenny right. Kenny's from Houston.
Because he's right.
He's always right. Yes. He's always in the Wholesaling Houses for Real Facebook group. He's one of the OGs. I think he's been there since we've had like a very small amount. It's crazy. So I appreciate all of you guys.
Thanks, Kenny.
So yeah, Kenny's on there. He's really good at creative financing.
Yeah.
Hit him up. Taylor's been on here a ton. All of you guys have been on here. Good question here from Pars. What if they ask what type of research? Just independent research on housing. I'm just kind of trying to do it.
Just kind of be vanilla. Like, you have the right.
The more specific you are, the worse.
Yeah, you have the right to pull that information. You're paying for it. You're paying for all those employees, all that data. You're entitled to it, and you're just going to have to work through it, guys. So much easier than to deal with like the motivated sellers. Does take some extra training.
Exactly.
These people, no.
Wayne says here, someone taking my Bandit signs. Quick tip for you. I know you have some dirty secrets on Bandit signs. We're not going to talk about because that's not nice.
I was a Bandit sign master at one point, and then I taught him. And guys, I want you to understand, I thought Bandit signs were dead. And we had some extra ones. I had Zach order them and pay for them. And Zach,
we did it.
Tell him how many leads we got from those Bandit signs. And I thought this was dead.
I know. We got a ton. But here's the thing with Bandit signs. If they're stealing them, just staple them up in a pole. You can't rip them up when they're high up.
But
We
remember,
got a
when
ton.
someone's stealing your Bandit signs, that's a job.
It's true.
While they're taking your Bandit signs, it takes them away from doing anything else. So I got to tell you, like sometimes you just keep bearing with it.
Keep
So
going.
sometimes you take your 18 by 24 and you cut it in half and
Yeah.
you double your supply. And the guy's like, oh my gosh, they won't sign. Or try to meet up somebody putting in Bandit signs here. We tried it. We didn't have a lot of luck with it. Like
We've done some. but
those
it's
single
tough.
dating sites that are everywhere, or,
Oh, those people are crazy.
the Hulk movers, whatever
oh
they
my
are,
Gosh.
student movers, college movers.
Caleb says only mail if you have 100K. This is my opinion. I think make 100K per year in profit from cold calling and SMS before you get into mail. I just think it's very easy for not knowing what you're doing to lose a lot of money in mail. Don't you agree?
Well, the problem is the experience a little bit.
Yeah.
On average, when you do direct mail, if you're highly experienced, you can get a deal done for 3,000 or 4,000. But
It's
if you
easy.
don't know what you're doing, it's about 7 to
See,
8
that's-
grand a deal. And
I
that's
know.
what we're trying to have you avoid doing.
I
That
say that. I want you to just get actual wholesaling with really good ROIs before you kind of get into something crazier. That's just my
or
opinion.
do start out with a small mailing,
yeah.
and you'll be hyper focused.
Like
on
drawing for
everything.
dollars. Like mail 200 postcards on 200 drawing for dollars. That's a way better than doing a crazy
Yeah.
high equity one. Let's see
We
here.
got some cool stuff coming to help them out with that. So
Oh, we do. Juan says, I'm thinking of making my own sign saying me too phone number on top of other Bandit.
what's me too?
Like we buy houses cash and then your phone number and I put me too. And then here's my
guys. Like
I would not do that.
Don't.
He's just kidding though.
Yeah, I know.
He's
It's just
kidding.
I've seen people do that. Like I've seen people posting where they cross out phone numbers, and it's just a weak mindset when people do that. And we've had people take our stuff, just get more creative, spend a little bit more money. But remember, when someone's picking up your stuff, it's a job,
Yeah.
and it takes them away from doing other marketing activities or meeting with.
But Juan said, I think yesterday he's doing 2 to 5 deals a month. He's killing it. Juan's going out there doing well. So he's always on. He's providing a lot of value. So I appreciate that.
That's awesome.
Appreciate it, guys. I like that, Zach. I'm working for my partner. I door knock for him. He's older. That's perfect.
See, that's it.
30-year-old old to him. No, it's not. No, 30-year-old's not old
30.
to me.
30.
Oh my gosh. No, I did not say
30
that.
is a youngster. What'd I give to go back to 30?
Oh my gosh. Wayne's going to teach you Spanish.
I would love to find the average age on here, but
We have
we'll
that.
have to do a
We'll
poll.
do it. Spanish class. Anyone? I guess we can have Wayne teach you Spanish.
I'm in South Florida. You think I'd know it better now? I know
You
the key
should.
words
I know.
'cause
I know
lied
way
out
more
about it.
Spanish than you. I don't know
No.
how.
Well, you took Spanish in high school.
What do you take in high school?
Honestly, I got through Spanish too, and I
Yeah, you did
no
Spanish.
idea how.
I don't know how you
was
do not remember
required
it.
to do it, but it's like it's a long story. And
Crazy.
that's the language you should learn, like at least in Florida.
Yeah.
That is.
If you're in wholesaling and there's another language you have to learn, definitely be Spanish, hands down. We are surprisingly, we don't get a lot of Spanish leads. It's kind of weird. We really don't. That's the truth. Maybe because we don't have
Listen,
typical
if-
Hispanic names.
If you're bilingual, it's a big plus.
It is a big
Like,
plus.
so if you have the ability to learn another language,
But I don't know. Maybe if my name was like Hispanic,
I
maybe
should have named you something else.
no, you should have not. But like maybe that's where a lot of this. Like I don't know this, but maybe there's a lot of deals where people only speak Spanish. I've done a couple of those appointments that are rough, just for me because I'm not the best. But
No, let me tell you, it works when you do a marketing piece. So even if you do SMS text and saying, habla español, but the problem is if you don't speak Spanish, you put it on there.
un
they'll just start
poquito
calling you,
español.
speaking you in Spanish, and you're like, oh man. So if you have a partner or a family friend
Lo
that speaks Spanish,
siento.
it's awesome. But I have people that help us out when we have that. And by the way, we actually have a contract. Do you know if their predominant language is something else like Spanish? You're legally supposed to provide them a contract
Yeah.
in Spanish. Like, so if you enter a contract and they don't understand it because of the language barrier, you, the wholesaler,
We're
are
forgetting this
liable.
too. The United States does not have an official language. And I'm not getting to debate, but it does not have an official
I know,
language.
but if-
So
They can get out of your contract if you
Yes.
knew they spoke Spanish and you wrote an English contract and told them to sign
it's
it.
true.
Ask me how I know.
Wayne says I'm 46 and I work out and teach boxing.
See, that's,
We
I
got
love
it.
boxing. That is tiring, Wayne. Like that's it's not as fulfilling at the LA Fitness with the
No.
bag. That bag is heavy, man.
I know.
These are sensitive hands.
Smash that like button. I appreciate that. Last couple questions is Tampa Bay. Oh my gosh. Anyone in Orlando? What is up?
It's ridiculous. Tom Brady just defies age, doesn't he?
I know. Stephanie says, hey, Rick and Zach, you guys are awesome. I'm going to watch this live, but when to say send a message in your inbox, please take a look whenever you got the chance. Stephanie, I will. Again, here's the issue. I'm getting over 200 messages a day over all platforms, including email. We're closer to like 210. It's let's include. I get like 30 voicemails a day too.
And then we'll have to get some sort of massive product and then start selling.
Yeah, maybe I could start selling guys products and hiring people just to sift. I try to go through everything. I used to get like 80 a day and go through every single one of them a day. My issue is now once it's hitting 250. Guys, you gotta understand, when I had like 1,000 subscribers, I would do everything. And the one thing I have promised, and the one promise I will always make to everyone, I'll say this even now, I'm going to kick myself if
you'll grow your hair long.
No, I will answer every single comment or question or comment on YouTube. Yeah, that's one thing I do promise. If you do comment something on YouTube, I will see it and I will answer it. Messages gets tough. I'm trying my best. I'm working. I will do like 100 messages like every other day, and I work from the bottom up, not the top down. I'm working on it.
So the messages come in.
It's insane.
But you're talking like from Facebook Messenger,
DM,
that's a lot.
My own DMs. So if you guys really want to reach me, there's 3 ways. Comment something on YouTube. I will 100% see it.
That's going to be
not the live chat. The live chat's tougher, but like actual comment because I can just sift through them very easy.
Yeah.
Second here is Wholesaling Houses for Real Facebook group. If you go there and you post something, I will see it, which would be great. Lastly, usually every Thursday. This week we couldn't do it, but usually every week or every other, at least once a month, I give away. Actually, no, I gave the StreamYard link yesterday. Yeah, every week usually. I'll post a StreamYard link in the video. You got to be in the beginning for me to get it. I post in the comments. Click the link and you'll have a free one-on-one chat with me. And I will literally talk to any question you have in this entire world. I'll tell you my favorite color.
That's crazy.
I'll do it. So those are the 3 ways to get a hold of me. Guys, I am still accessible. Just
make the messages kind of short and sweet. And if you can put something either in the title or the first like 5 words, because it is a lot. I look at them, I'm like, wow,
it's crazy.
And it's not that we don't want to answer every one of them, but like that's a job in itself. And we're trying to make this interactive, and we're not selling you a bunch of crap. So
and the reason why also I like to get it live, if you ask me a question, is my time is very valuable, and I'm not like up above everyone, but like I don't have 20. If there was 3 of me, there would be a version of me that just goes live for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like I would love to go live on YouTube and answer questions all day, every day. The problem is I run a 7-figure wholesaling operation. So here's the thing. If I want to provide value to somebody, I want everyone to gain value from it. So if someone asks a question about tax liens on here, like, hey, what type of research do you say? I would love to DM you, but you get the benefit, but not everyone gets the benefit. So when someone asks a question, I want everyone to benefit from it.
I agree. We're trying to have the maximum amount of impact and help as many people as possible. So you guys don't have to cut through all the red tape of paying thousands and thousands of dollars for information that's readily available for free than it's out there. Wholesaling is, to me, the gateway to get started in real estate investing. And we want to get you up and running 6 figures without having you spend a dime, in return build the biggest, baddest wholesaling community out there. And I think we're the only one do it of our kind. I think every other group, and there's some amazing ones out there, but they're all trying to get you in the funnel to sell you something, correct?
They're all doing it.
That's it. So they're exchanging money for what they do. And then I don't know. You know my opinion on that. I think you should get started, and then once you get some money, you can make some decisions what you want to do.
True.
And it also gives
I'll
you
still
time.
talk to you guys live. I'm not scared. I love doing that. You just got to do it on the terms that helps the people out.
Yeah.
So last couple of questions here. Javier, first time, made it to a live.
Awesome.
Javier is assuming we're live right now. This could be completely fake, and I hope so. I mean, if we were not live and we just had to talk for an hour, I mean, we could, but it'd be a little more boring. Trent says, you guys are great. Thanks, Trent. I put 100 Bandit signs and got 3 serious leads. Let's go.
Guys, that's great.
Within a week's time. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So I appreciate it, guys. We're going to end this on a couple fun notes. So we are going to, on Monday's the last episode of the wholesaling documentary. That's coming out. That'll be pretty exciting. And guys, hit me up for everything, and let's get it going, guys. So the last thing here is a quick clip. We're going to talk about freewholesaling.com. That's, I guess, how we end it. Or do you want to do the video? Which one do you want? Freewholesaling.com or the video? I think you know what you want.
I'm split on that one.
Split. Let's do two. So let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about freewholesaling.com real quick.
Yeah.
And then we'll end it out with a bang.
Okay, cool.
Let's go. Hey guys, Zach Ginn here from Flip with Rick. And after helping tens of thousands of people get started in wholesaling real estate and helping so many people out go from $0 to $100,000 in wholesaling real estate, I'm super excited to announce my new wholesaling mastery course. This wholesaling mastery course will have everything step by step on the whole entire wholesaling processes. I'm going to give you real deal examples. I'm going to hold your hand throughout the whole wholesaling process. This course will give you everything you need to know to make up to $100,000 to over $1 million per year in wholesaling real estate profits. Most real estate gurus out there will charge you around $5,000 for a course like this. But today, if you click on the link, you'll get my wholesaling mastery course for the low price of
Sellout.
What?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
What do you mean?
I knew you would do this. I knew you were going to go the course route with the guru. It goes against everything we've preached from day one. Don't be a sellout.
The course is free.
What?
The course is free. I'm giving it for free.
Oh, I apologize. Carry on.
Jeez. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, duh. Do you think I'm going to go sell out as like a regular guru selling you a course? I'm not trying to make money off of you guys. Guys, over here, all you got to do is click there to just sign up. No gimmicks, nothing. Absolutely for free. It's a free wholesaling course. Literally, I've seen every single wholesaling course. I have access to all the 10,000 mentorships. Guys, I literally copied them step by step. I literally have an entire course set out just for you for wholesaling real estate. Click on that and let's get started. All right, let's get up.
Let's go. Get it
Let's
up.
get up.
Fire
Let's
it
get up. All right.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and then they got go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
All right, guys, have a great weekend. I appreciate it. Go out there, change your life with wholesaling real estate, tax liens. Let's get it, guys.
You guys got
Welcome
it.
to Shark Tank. Let's get it going.
Awesome.
Any parting thoughts for anyone?
Go to freewholesaling.com. Guys, you got all the tools. You got the right attitude. You're in the right place. You just got to put the actions in. So
That's it.
go out there and do it.